welcome back to another interaction of the Youth Leadership League series. This is Rumish, the founder president of the organization, and today I have Parmi Banker with me. She's a second year student at National Law University, Delhi, one of India's premier law schools. She's interested in exploring new and dynamic fields of law with a keen interest in public law. Academic research and legal writing have become one of her favorite things in law school. So, how is catching up with life going on?
Hi, Ramesh. Hi. Yeah, so it's been good. I'm in hostel, I'm in college, and college by far has been one of the most different kind of life experience for me as far as academics is concerned. Social relationships here have changed a lot. My own personality has changed a lot. So yeah, it's been fun. It's a challenging aspect of life. Yes.
It's a transition phase. You go through a lot of things.
Right. Yes,
So,
definitely.
you are a second year law student now, but years back when you were planning to take humanities, how difficult was it for you? You have a sister, as I know, who is a medical graduate. Obviously, our siblings' choices have some kind of influence on us. So, what was the stream and career selection process for you like?
Honestly, for me, it was kind of simple because I always knew that I have to take humanities. Um, Even though my sister is doctor now, it's always been inspiring for me to do what you want to do. Looking up at my sister, she did what she wanted to do, and again, my social environment, my family support, I always had that. So for me, it was very simple that this is something I wanted to do because I always knew that science and math was not something that I wanted to do. So yeah, it was always clear that this is what I want to do, and obviously, I had the family support. But again, I know that this is a privilege to have that kind of support and go for what you want to do because not everybody gets that. So I truly acknowledge that I had that kind of support. I had that kind of backing with me. And yeah, so taking humanities was really a simple decision. It was one of the simplest and the easiest decision that I had to take. Yeah.
After that, the challenges might have increased. What I'm going to
Yeah.
do with this, how I'm going to plan my path.
Right.
So, what makes you passionate about studying law?
Okay. So yeah, so when I took Ag Humanities, I didn't really know that I wanted to do law. I wasn't very clear back then. I figured it out in my class 12th only. And it's not, I wouldn't say that it is something I'm very passionate about because passion is not something that I look for when I was deciding my career. I don't look for passion because it is not, I believe passion is a very unstable kind of motivation because it can always wear off. Your passion can always wear off. It can be sort of yeah, impractical sometimes, and it can always change. And sometimes you don't know what your passion is. So I was one of those persons who didn't really know what that passion was. So I never looked for passion while choosing a career, but instead, what I tried to do was not depend on motivation while I was working towards something. Because when you look for motivation, you have motivation now and you are doing something. But the moment you don't have motivation, you won't go for it. So what I tried to do was to keep a discipline in me. So I don't need motivation for doing anything. So that was one of the things that I had. So choosing law was, see, I was attracted to law. I knew that always, that because it's a very dynamic, it's a very evolving field, it's ever changing, new developments taking place all the time. And I knew that I had the prerequisites sort of for going for a legal career. I was interested in reading, I was interested in writing. I liked getting involved in social issues and trying to research and all that stuff I was good at and I liked doing that. So I knew that I have some skills in me that law requires. And I was interested in it. I was attracted to it somehow because obviously it's a very changing field. It's always challenging to be in a field that's always changing. I was attracted to it, but I wasn't passionate about it. But now that I am pursuing law, I truly do feel connected to this field because studying more about it, I do have some kind of passion reignited in me about this field of law. So, but when I was deciding that I have to go for law, I really didn't have the passion. I just went for it because I felt like this was the best option for me. Yeah.
So, having that practical decision making capacity and analyzing what you have in yourself is really important when you choose a career because, as you have stated, it keeps you going. You have that discipline. You don't have to look back and say that, okay, now I'm no longer interested in it, so I should shift from it.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to? Yes. Continue.
So I was saying that you have to also look at the practical aspects, right? If this career is sustainable for you in the future, if you are getting well paid, that's a very important aspect. You can't always look for emotional sides and passion because your passions cannot always be something that sustains you for a very long time in your life. Yeah.
Definitely. So, what would you like to advise law aspirants right now? And what would be some of your tips for law entrance exams like CLAT and AILET, as you had All India rank 27 in AILET?
Right. So for CLAT and AILET, they are very simple papers, I believe, because they basically test your English skills, language skills, and time management. So, what I would suggest is reading as much as you can read different articles, mostly editorial and analytical pieces, novels, even basic anything, just anything. Just read English and do it every day. Practice it every day. Reading newspapers again very important because general knowledge is a big part of CLAT and AILET. So keeping up with the news, keeping up with the normal GK is very important. So reading newspapers, reading books, reading all kinds of wherever you can read English is very important. Secondly, if you can and if you have the financial capacity, join any coachings and all. Do test series, give as much as you can, give as much as tests as you can because they help you gauge where you stand currently among other students. And don't only just give tests and look at the marks and be done with it. You have to look at the places where you lagged, where you went wrong, analyze them and try to correct them. I think that's very important because people always say just give tests and all, but you have to always analyze them and see where you are actually going wrong. And I think the last part would be consistent in your efforts. You have to see, I think usually people decide for CLAT and AILET in class 11. So it's a 2-year long process. So you have to be very consistent with it. You can't leave it one day and take it up the other day because you lose your track. And what's so wrong about that is you lose time management because when you are in practice, you do things quicker and quicker. And that's very important in AILET and CLAT. These are exams, these are papers which are, when you have less time and more questions, right? So you have to manage your time in such a way that you are able to get the most questions. You are able to attempt the most questions. So consistency there becomes very, very important. Right. Yeah. I think these three are the most important things. But yeah, enjoy the process as in whole. Don't stress yourself too much because it's a very simple paper. It's just testing your English and your time management skills and a bit of GK. So enjoy the process. Don't stress too much because in stress, what you tend to do is you don't do things quicker, which is the most important part of this paper. So I think, these three things would be the most important thing.
I guess these stepping stones will really help those who would be further listening to this interaction. I have come to know that internships in law are very important to establish a base and to start understanding the field in particular. Would you like to enlighten us about some of your intern experiences? What should a law student look while interning and how does it all help?
Right. Internships are very, very important part of your legal career. Um, First of all, they are obviously the practical experience that you get of what you've studied in college. So it's always better to do internships because whatever you are studying, you are able to apply that in real life. So it's always better to go for internships. And obviously, you are able to build connections through internships, which is again a very, very important aspect of law, to build connections. You're able to see certain processes which you don't actually study. The real life reality when you go to district courts and see this, that law states something else, but what is happening in the socio-economic realities of a country is something completely different. So again, internships that way become a reality check for you to see that if this is the practice that you are going to do in future, how are you going to actually do it? Now, when you are interning, you have to look for a place. In first, second year, I think what is more important is you just apply for internships and go for internships. People in first, second year are very sort of hesitant to go for internships because it's obviously a new type of thing that's happening in their lives. In class 11, 12, at least in my time, we didn't have this concept of internships. Now, I think a lot of school students are interning at different places as well. But during our time, that wasn't the case. So, yeah, when we were in first, second year, we were very hesitant about going to internships and doing that stuff because it was very new. But you have to have a very open mindset, a mindset of learning, always try to learn. You will make mistakes in internships because it's a very new process and you don't really know anything. And you have to accept the fact that you actually don't know anything. You will learn eventually by the process. And interact with seniors, interact with all the people that they're around. That's how you build connections and that's how you learn. You learn from their life perspective, you learn from their mistakes, you learn what mistakes you don't have to make when you talk to your seniors, when you talk to experienced people. And always take initiative during your internships. Ask for work, ask for what you can do better, ask for feedback of your work so that you can improve. And again, going to a court is a very, very humbling experience because you get to see what people are going through. And it's a life changing, it's a personality development in itself. So internships that way become very important.
So the basic idea is to actually get a reality check and to analyze that whatever you are studying, how does it is applicable to the real life, and so that when after 5 years you are actually ready for that field that you are working towards. It is perceived by many that establishing yourself as a first generation lawyer is a challenging process. The profession involves building good connections, as you had stated earlier. What would be your take on this, and what are essentials regarding creating a network if you are new to this altogether?
Right. Now, that's very true that in a field like law, being a first generation lawyer is a very challenging process because a lot of people here have established practice, and how you get clients is through the name, right? The client knows their name and that's how you acquire clients. So building that name takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And you just have to accept the fact that it's going to be challenging and you have to be very patient. Being a first generation lawyer, you will take around 4 to 5 years just to establish certain amount of name in the field, just to have some clientele with you. So it takes time, definitely. It's very challenging, but you have to be patient with it because it's very rewarding. Law is one of those fields which has a high level of self-satisfaction when you actually get there. So you have to believe that this process is going to be worth it, while you are in first 2, 3 years, while you are struggling, you just have to believe that this is going to be worth it. And you just have to accept it and keep working. You have to work hard in first 3, 4 years, 3, 4, 5 years almost. But then you do get results of what you are actually working hard for. So establishing practice is a lot based on connections, as you said. And how you build connections is, again, interact with your seniors, interact with all the other lawyers that there are, interact with your seniors in your college. That is one of the most helpful thing in a college. Interacting with seniors, it helps you know what to do and how to do stuff because they are they've done stuff that you are doing right now. So it becomes very important. And there's always some kind of events, sessions happening in your college. Lawyers are coming in from different places in those events. Judges are coming in. So try talking to them, try building some kind of connection with them. It helps. It helps in your future. Now, one of the things that law students or I think anybody faces is that you are hesitant to interact with new people. I think that somebody in field of law has to let go at some point, because making connections is everything. You get internships through connections, you get jobs through connections, you get clients through connections. So it becomes very important that you let go of that. So in hand in both being patient and then being building connection with these people, both of the things you have to do together, so that in 3-4 years you have a good clientele. But yes, after a few years you do get that, and you then get that satisfaction. It's very rewarding after that.
What I can get from this is that pursuing law requires a lot of patience because it's a hard-working process. It requires time. It requires your hard work. You have to be consistent with it. So yes, definitely, that is something you are doing. The motivation to become an attorney is to say your honor and order as a judge, as we have seen it all in the movies as well, or which is in true. What is a catchphrase that you are looking forward to?
That's an interesting question. I've never thought about it or have like a specific catchphrase that I'd like to go for. But see, I'll use anything. There's a lot of catchphrases that if somebody is posting law, they'll know that there's a lot of catchphrases in this field. But see, whatever works to flatter the judge, right? You just have to flatter the judge somehow, because it's very important to flatter the judge, because they are going to take the entire trial process. They're going to take all the stages of proceedings are going to happen in front of one judge. So it's very important to build that sort of, not a connection, I'd say, a sort of rapport between you and the judge. So you have to show them that you respect him, you are flattering him, and so you can get some kind of decision in your favor. So it becomes very important. For me personally, may it please the court is one of the favorite phrases. We use it in moot court. I've seen that in courts you don't use that use that catchphrase a lot. But I think why not, right? You just have to flatter the judge. So why not use a little bit more exaggerated phrase? If that's going to work, if that's going to work in your favor, then it's good for you. Yeah.
Conviction and flattery. Of course, those are the two things that work a lot in the court. We are less aware regarding the fields other than being a lawyer or working in the court. Could you please highlight other work fields for law graduates?
There's a lot of work that lawyers do. It's not just being in a court is a very, very traditional notion of being a lawyer. Nowadays, it has completely changed, because now corporate law as a field has been growing. So corporate law is basically you are a lawyer for a company, and you do company related legal work, not specifically going to courts and fighting cases for companies, but a lot of work goes behind in contract making, due diligence. There's a lot of work that happens behind courtrooms. So that kind of work for company has become one of the fastest and growing fields of law nowadays, because it's also much more stable. You get paid very well. It's very stable. It's normal corporate job. So you have stable timings as well. So that kind of field has become very, very popular nowadays. And a lot of colleges now provide that sort of placements as well. So it becomes all the more easier for you. It's a continuous flow from your law school to corporate house. When it comes to litigation, you don't have that flow, because you are done with your law school and you have to start from zero, which is not what is the case in corporate field. So corporate is one of the most, I think, lucrative field that is now coming along. Other than corporates, a lot of government jobs are also there. Government law ministry and some PSUs provide for or ask for legal training in their offices for legal work, so you can get government jobs, which is again very much stable than litigation. Litigation is not as much stable because your uh, what are you getting paid is dependent on your clients. So it's not very stable for that matter. But such jobs that you get in private companies or public companies, these are very stable in comparison to litigation. Other than that, a lot of law students in my college at least are preparing for UPSC and judiciary. That becomes very important because law is also personality development for you. So that becomes a very essential while you are giving your UPSC interview or your judiciary interview. That plays a very huge role in that. And it creates a background for you, for even for UPSC. Law as a background is very helpful. Judiciary, obviously, you need to know the law for being a judge. So law as a background is great when you are in a law school. Going for judiciary is one of the most opted field right now, because again, it's government jobs, it's power in your hand, it's all sort of, it's charismatic in a way. So UPSC and judiciary, obviously, a lot of people go for. Then you have in-house counsels. You can become in-house counsels in big companies where you are basically representing that company. So you are doing the litigation part as well, because you are representing the company in courts, and you are also doing the all the work that goes behind. So you get the best of the both worlds when you become an in-house counsel. And a lot of companies do have in-house counsel. So it is again a very lucrative field. Then you have research and academia. A lot of people go in research and academia because a lot of people who are interested in teaching, who are interested in writing, who are interested in speaking, and all that things, they come in academia. So you can go to foreign countries to pursue your LLM or PhD, and you can come back or not, but then you can teach there. It's again very lucrative because it's a stable job and you get to do research. Research is a very interesting, as I said, I love doing research. So it's a very interesting, very entertaining sort of a skill to have, thing to do. So it is indeed a very interesting job. I think all in all these spaces have become very interesting in a way because law keeps interacting with a lot of economical, social issues, and a lot of new things that keep happening. AI is coming up, so new laws related to AI. So all the fields that you go for, legal fields, you'll always find there's no monotonous in this field, right? You'll always find something new happening, something exciting. So you'll always be on your toes to do something new, right? So it's a entertaining job. It's entertaining, it's exciting in a way.
Being vigilant and being accepting to the change is something that is going to help you being a law student. Definitely. So you are also working with NGOs and are involved in social work. Is it because it helps you towards a certain dimension in law, or there are some pertinent social issues that you are concerned and willing to work towards?
Right. Definitely after coming to this law school, I have realized a lot and I've learned a lot about the issues that are persistent in our country. Going to courts and realize how the system is supposed to work and how it's working right now, the inefficiencies of systems. So definitely I've become a sensitive person in that sense, that I've realized a lot of things which we don't really realize in our daily lives. Definitely that really helped me, and that really, after that kind of experience, humbling experience, I wanted to work for certain social issues. I worked for an NGO in, I think, last year, where I was doing COVID-19 and law related work, how COVID-19 is affecting our fundamental rights, and how you, as a person who is going through COVID and you see hospital malpractice, that became very common during COVID, right? Hospital malpractices. What can you do? Any person who is going to hospital for COVID is not really aware of their rights what they can do while they are in the hospital, or people died because of the hospital, what they can do. So I was involved in that kind of work, how to help them and all that. I was working at I'm working at the Center for Labor Law, where I am sort of working on a research paper of how construction workers here in our country are being treated, because the registration process for them for welfare schemes are so tough and stringent that they are actually not able to avail those welfare schemes at all. So I am definitely working towards that. There's a lot of things, and you realize a lot while you are in the field, law what is law supposed to be and how it is now, how it is interacting with people now, and how lawyers are interacting in between this field, because lawyers are the bridge from these people to the courts, to actually delivering the justice part, right? How, and you realize what you actually want to do. If this is, you realize an aim, sort of, which I didn't have firstly when I joined the field. I didn't really have an aim. But now I do see what I want to do, because there's a huge gap here, right? What law is doing, what law is supposed to do. And you, the lawyer, have to build that gap. You have to get your clients the rights that they deserve. So that is something that I learned while reading and researching about different kinds of issues. And it is a aim that has become an aim for me now to do. So yeah, it's very exciting. And now that I have a aim, I have a purpose, I do have the motivation now to work towards.
I would definitely agree here that social work actually connects you with the people, and as a lawyer, you should know what the people really want, because I would agree with the phrase that lawyers are a bridge between the people and the courts and the justice provided by it. So, yes, this has been really informative, and I would not like to conclude it, but here is my last question for you. Who is Parmi to you? What do you see yourself as?
Wow, interesting questions. What do I see myself as? Okay, it's been a very, I would say, transformative phase for me from school to college. So what I was before, I am definitely not now today. I was somebody who didn't really have a purpose, who didn't really know what to do in life. I just went for this field. But now that I am here, I definitely feel that I am doing something. I feel that I'm doing something now. And I know that I will be doing something that will help me, that will help the society. I know I will be somewhere in life where I will be satisfied. I'll have that satisfaction. I'll be happy. So for me, I am somebody is in making right now. I am becoming somebody who I want to be, and which is the best part. I think best realization that you can have, that you are actually becoming the person that you hope for, right? At some point, you want to, because since childhood, you have dreamed to be a person, and to realize that you are actually becoming a person that you wanted to be is a fruitful realization, right? So I'm a person who's been making. Parmi is a person who has been making, right?
That is a very optimistic and a positive response that, yes, I am changing and that change is good and I'm happy about it. So, thank you so much. It was nice having a talk with you. It was really informative. Got to learn a lot of things. Thank you.